in a long time.
Wow, you said it right, and oh, such a...
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. While WWE is built upon the foundational structure of people trying to incapacitate the other to a point where they're literally unable to lift themselves out of a simple 3 count, there's still apparently such things as too far. These moves all ended up being on that So Far Gone mixtape, meaning they're so far into the realm of fucking ow that they'd murdered Drake and then he'd be gone. You know, not my best analogy work right there. I'm D Wicket, and these are 10 wrestling moves that were banned by the WWE. Number 10, a top rope poisoned Frankensteiner. Fucking mouthful for one move. Anything with a literal toxin in the name probably isn't a good sign, and anyone in possession of taking a poisoned Frankensteiner should probably sign an agreement to a lot of money in advance because Jesus fuck, look at how you land. The poisoned Frankensteiner is easily the most dangerous variant of the head scissor related moves. For those curious, a regular Frankensteiner is a move you've seen a lot before. Person A is sitting up on the turnbuckle before person B comes along and essentially puts themselves into a powerbomb position before flipping their opponent over whilst using the head scissors to do their own flip of sorts safely to the ground below. A clunky and quite frankly pointless explanation of a move you've been watching on screen for almost 20 seconds now. That is a regular Frankensteiner. The poison version is the exact same thing, but reversed, so the person taking the move is facing the other direction, so instead of flipping out onto their back, they have to land directly on top of their head. Ali, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, they're all allowed to do standing variants that'll often get miscalled as hurricanranas, but no one is allowed to do a proper poisoned Frankensteiner off of the top rope. Besides one match between Sasha Banks and Bayley in NXT, and that was an audible called by Triple H specifically for that match, and it got him a lot of heat with the big bad of WWE, so you get the idea. Number 9, Wings of Love. Michelle McCool. The more time passes, the stranger, greater appreciation I have for this woman. And albeit if she wasn't married to an Undertaker, it probably wouldn't be so. Her Women's Royal Rumble record was definitely interesting. I'm not sure I would have booked it so, but it definitely did establish her as a returning top talent who hasn't actually returned since, so yeah, interesting. During her initial run, though, she did get to take credit for the invention of a batshit move, which she called the Wings of Love. It essentially starts, it's like a lifted and held in the air for a few seconds pedigree that turns into a sit-out facebuster. It's an odd duck of a move, and while it doesn't even really look that bad, it did end up getting the boot.
Cool! Hoping to close in on the victory! Michelle calls that the Wings of Love!
And speaking of the pedigree, number 8, the pedigree. Or at least the original pedigree. While Seth Rollins pulled it out for a time and Triple H always has it sitting somewhere next to his sledgehammer in the back pocket, the variant of the pedigree that debuted alongside Hunter Hearst Helmsley hasn't seen the light of day since the mid-90s. In fact, it only saw the light for about 5 days before being cut from his arsenal. Well, for anyone who hasn't seen said original pedigree, be warned because it is a bit gruesome.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley rams the kisser of Matt Hardy.
Number 7, the punt. Randy Orton has 2 of the most iconic finishers in professional wrestling history, and both are famous for completely different reasons. The RKO is a spectacle move. It's an RKO. Even if it didn't fit the methodically prepared to strike at a moment's notice Randy Orton's character perfectly, it'd still just be a hell of a fun move to rewatch on compilations, preferably cut-ups where Orton RKO's a draft with slithering snake he is playing throughout every single clip. On the other hand, you've got the move WWE tried booking as the most legitimately devastating in company history? Maybe? Being hit with it was like being hit with a wellness violation because that's a kayfabe injury lasting 4 weeks minimum. WWE thought maybe it's not the best idea to show kids such an easily repeatable move to bust out on the playground, and they told Orton no more. Number 6, the curb stomp. I know the move itself has since had its ban lifted, but it's only called the stomp now, so fuck it. Besides, it's by far the second most notably banned WWE move over the last 5 years, being the finisher of their top heel during the post-Shield era. Seth Rollins' curb stomp is another kind of devastating, only achieved through the act of shoving your opponent's head straight into the dirt through full leg force. Yeah, there's a reason people usually don't kick out of this. Similar to the punt, this move had to be removed for a few years as Vince & Co. found the move too repeatable and hence had it removed. That's repetitive. But luckily it's been revived, even if it has the stupidest finisher name on the entire roster today. It's just the stomp.
Can't have these two guys doing this.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!
No! Curb stomp! A curb stomp! A curb stomp from Rollins to Orton!
Number 5, diving headbutts. Wrestlers like Daniel Bryan love to put on a big spectacle, and more power to them, but so did guys like Chris Benoit, so maybe Flash isn't always worthwhile. And while each of these men were obviously substance above all else, one move on each's arsenal stands out not only for the height it achieved, but also the real-world ramifications that it had. If the 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient brain that Benoit ended up with is anything to go by, Bryan should honestly be pretty happy that the diving headbutt has been put to rest before, his own career for the second time.
Probably to the top. Big Ace legal. The headbutt from across the ring. Looking for the lapel lock.
Number 4, the vertebreaker. Exactly what it sounds like, except probably not what the hell is that. Perhaps one of the most convoluted looking moves out there. The vertebreaker is what happens when Shane Helms got behind a dude and basically did the pedigree counter where you use your neck to chuck a dude over your body, except they were facing the other way, so he rolled them onto his back and dropped them on their neck. And Jesus Christ, anything with an explanation that convoluted just has to be seen instead. Keep in mind, this dangerous move was once relegated to the McBurglar.
The lock on it, and
I think wasting too much time right there.
we can only be treated
We have not seen that in a long time.
Number 3, the pile driver. One of wrestling's most nameable moves out there. The pile driver is the epitome of classic in this sport. Pick a dude up, drop him on his neck. It's fucking wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it on your silver ring-shaped platter. Well, here's a move similar to the diving headbutt in that it was actually removed out of necessity. Surprisingly, WWE didn't ban too many of these moves due to real-life injury occurrence. Not so much the pile driver, which had to be removed after Owen Hart accidentally used it to snap the neck of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, this did get pulled out by CM Punk during a Raw match against John Cena, but come on, Punk, Cena, 2012, they could have pulled out Brian Pillman's gun and gotten away with it.
Set up for the pile driving. Goldust has on that up. Drives him. With control and look out. Oh!
Number 2, the Muscle Buster. Another unfortunate instance of a move's removal due to real-life circumstance. The Muscle Buster did have to be taken away from Samoa Joe. During a dark match taping, Joe went for the finish against Tyson Kidd before dropping the former Cesaro tag team partner to the floor with authority. Plenty of authority, but unfortunately no one in control as Tyson landed awkwardly and left his career inside the ring that night. Yes, career. Ever since 2015, Kidd has been producing from the sidelines while Joe transitioned his finisher into the Coquina Clutch, only ever getting to tease his former devastation.
This is why Samoa Joe has
Oh,
a reputation
my
that
goodness.
precedes him. Watch this. Oh, muscle buster.
And number 1, the actual most banned move in WWE, albeit with a caveat, the Burning Hammer. The last 2 entries had to be banned from this company for the irreversible damage done to both Stone Cold Steve Austin and Tyson Kidd respectively. So believe me when I tell you that the number 1 entry on this list is an absolute stone fucking killer. I've been getting into New Japan lately for this year's ever so stacked G1, so it's pretty cool getting to top a list with what's essentially become a Japanese exclusive. Kenta Kobashi's iconic finisher was only ever hit 7 times by the man himself, and WWE never wanted to see it more than those original 7 times. This actually being the first move that Vince saw in Japan and immediately just went, yeah, no, that's not happening here, and the move got banned, and then a couple others got banned. It's literally the move that got moves banned, yet somehow Spanky got away with it.
Team backbreaker rack. Oh my God! Burning hammer!
Right to the neck, covered now!
Burning hammer by Kendrick!
And those are 10 wrestling moves that got banned by the WWE. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and notifications, ring that bell.